Welcome everybody to the winner bracket finals of the WePlay Dota 2 League season number 2. It's Na'Vi versus the Alliance. No gods, this is not your international 3 grand finals, but we will excuse the viewers who might have confused it with it because we have quite a match ahead of us.
It's on. We've got ourselves the dream winner bracket final. Na'Vi and Alliance. They've faced off once since then, I believe, maybe in the Starlighter grand finals, the land finals there. Well, twice, I should say. They both said in the winner bracket final as well as the grand finals, and they split the 2 series, so...
Yeah, but Na'Vi got the big one, right?
Yes, Na'Vi got the big one. They took the title, and Alliance are out looking for some revenge here. Just the winner bracket final, so the loser of this isn't knocked out. They can still bounce back. We may get that similar situation to Starlighter where, hey, they face off here as well as in the grand final.
They'll be dropping down the loser to play Team Liquid, and then the winner of that best of 5 moves on into your grand finals. A total of $25,000 in prizes will be handed out. Only 3 more series before the WePlay Dota 2 League. Season number 2 is complete, but Na'Vi versus the Alliance, and it's on a new battlefield in 6.79. Game 1 is now underway. Let's get into it. So the draft has begun. Na'Vi had the first pick in this draft. Neither team banned the Lich. Instead, Alliance banning out Bounty Hunter, which I think is a fantastic decision against Na'Vi. They're just too good with that hero, and he's really strong in this patch. Na'Vi first picked the Bat. Alliance get their hands on Lich Visage.
Yeah, Na'Vi not going for the first pick Lich, so opting to stick with this Bat Rider, even with the 10 base damage nerf, so deciding it's still a hero well worth picking, and let's see what Alliance have planned here with the Lich pickup. Worthy of noting here, before we get too far into this draft, is that Loda is actually not playing. We've got a stand-in in Small Gullet, so we'll have to see if he's going to be taking over the carry role. EGM tweeted, he says, guys, I'll protect your rares, I'll take over the carry role, even though my carry's a bit shit.
Yeah, he didn't promise much. The Dota 2 Lounge bettors, though, they're not going to be so lucky. If you bet on the Alliance, it was 50-50 odds.
Oh,
I think if you bet on Na'Vi now, you're feeling pretty good.
Look, EGM promised he'd protect those rares, so don't down EGM.
Defender of all rares.
Yeah.
That's what EGM stands for. Defender of all rares.
If you bet on commons, fuck you. You deserve to lose your uncommons. So I hope even if Alliance win, you lose those uncommons.
God's firing shots already. But the draft now continues. Na'Vi go for a very strong defensive support in the Venomancer. We see this hero's importance around the Roshan pit as well. I think that's where Na'Vi really value it highly. Kuroki was a complete pain in the rear for their opponents in the early rounds against Empire. Veno just allows you to secure Roshan control and makes it very difficult for anyone to sneak it, even if they are on the dire side. But as for Alliance, they got their hands on a very interesting support duo. Lich and then Visage. These two heroes almost exactly polar opposites in terms of their roles generally. The Visage, a very aggressive killing support. Sometimes you'll see him farm early, but in the mid-game, he's all about just shutting the enemy carries down, bursting them as quickly as possible, and even winning the tri-lane from level 1. Lich, well, he's all about slowly gaining an advantage, denying experience to your opponent. So, 2 supports that are, in some senses, like, completely the opposite, but working together.
Definitely be roaming around together, looking to act as, like, a support duo that works together, like you have, like, your Chen +1 roaming around. This is not that kind of setup. Alliance may just run straight up dual lanes, keep the 2 apart. They can still run a tri-lane here and just try to get extra experience for the Visage, who is a fairly level-dependent support with the help of the Lich, but either way, 2 of the strongest support heroes, even if they are polar opposites. So Alliance have a very strong foundation for this draft of theirs. Now they just need to start considering some of their core heroes. They need to get Bulldog's hero, and that's what's somewhat being targeted here. The Clockwork, as well as the Doom, which we saw in play in the past, are being banned out. Doom, one of those heroes which has really just risen to fame. I think it's only lost like 1 game since the new 6.79 patch.
Yeah, we've seen everyone from Empire to EG taking advantage of this hero in their respective scenes. And of course, in the Chinese scene, we saw Rattlesnake use him way back. And he's been around for a while, but experiencing a bit of a resurgence. One of the more effective 4-position junglers, even Speed Gaming likes to run him. Have not seen Alliance use him too often. We saw the 1 Bulldog Doom game, but that was really about it. Instead, they'll go for a Magnus here. So your classic S4 hero, and with the nerfed Bat Rider not as effective in the laning stage, if it isn't Bat versus Mag, I feel this is a matchup that Mag should do quite a bit better in.
Yeah, the Bottle Crow has been nerfed, which is annoying for the Mag, but I think he still does okay regardless in the middle lane, and he'll have some help protection from the Lich perhaps, even if it's just that single sacrifice from the first creep wave. That still makes a bit of a difference. Gets Mag that slight little boost to experience, denies him from Bat Rider, pulls the creep wave back for the Mag, so even just one deny from a Lich can really sort of help make a tiny little difference in that mid lane.
Yeah, and we've seen some Lich players will just kind of roam between lanes as they feel like they're needed. If one player's maybe saying, oh, I'm starting to lose my lane, come deny a few creeps, Lich rotates over there, and all of a sudden that lane gets pulled back a bit, the experience advantage equalizes, the denies don't matter as much, and it resettles. But now Alliance go for the Bulldog Lone Druid. So Well, forget about EGM or small goalie carrying, because whenever Bulldog gets his hands on Lone Druid, even if he's in the offlane, he almost always ends up being the most farm player on the team and the one position player at that.
Yeah, even whatever carry hero they get for their safe lane to go with the Visage and whatnot isn't even going to be looking to be a true one position carry, I imagine. Occasionally they run like a true dual core hard carry lineup, but they can easily just get some kind of a more utility semi carry for the safe lane.
Na'Vi are now going to secure an Earthshaker. I'm looking at this Na'Vi lineup, and it's 4 heroes that are very hard to push into. There's so many ways to initiate, from a Fissure to a Blink Lasso, an Arrow. The offense can come from any direction, and if it ever comes to a Roshan engagement, both teams are pretty strong there. Magnus and Lich both excel in those congested areas, but Na'Vi have lots of angles for attack, and so we could see some snipers on both sides of this game. Really looking forward to how this one develops, and well, it now puts Mirana into a farming role for Na'Vi, possibly that offlane hero for Funnick. We've seen them do the ancient shenanigans. There was that change to the dragons so they fly, but that got reverted. I believe it's not in the game right now, so I think it is still possible to do the ancient jungling.
Yes.
I don't know if they'll go for that, though, guys. Maybe we just see Na'Vi try to run some dual lanes here.
Yeah, they could go for the dual lanes. They could go for a like Mirana, Earthshaker, Venomancer offensive Trylon if they want to as well, depending what alliance get with this last pick. But then you've got the trouble of finding a hero that matches up okay versus a Lone Druid 1v1, and there's very few heroes that can do that. Troll maybe is one of them with like a regen pool and a poor man's shield. Queen of Pain does maybe okay-ish. Batrider, I guess, could go safe lane solo maybe. Like maybe you send Funnick on the Batrider, but I think in general it's just not a hero you want. I think maybe even look towards like pull out your Havos. Oh, I guess the Gyrocopter. Yeah. The lifesteal is like your ideal Havos here, but that was banned out right off the bat. Alliance know fully well that Na'Vi would snatch that up in the first stage.
There's also a Weaver here, but Alliance have good lockdown for a Weaver between the familiar stuns, RP in particular, Entangle. So, well, Weaver would have to get quite a bit of farm to compete with an Empowered Bear, but it's something Havost has turned to in the past. We've also seen that Slardar once. I don't know if you're going to run it in this particular draft, but it does work pretty well against the Lone Druid Bear, so we will see.
Yeah, I think Na'Vi may still be looking for Dendi's hero here with this last pick of theirs. They can get something like a Night Stalker if they want to get super aggressive. And I think they do want something which is very early game centric, because Alliance right now, even though they've got the Visage on their team, they want to have the first 15 minutes play out very slowly with little action, little kills. Then when they have the Blink Dagger on the mag, they get the Lone Druid involved, they have levels on the Visage. That's when they start taking down towers and just trying to look to snowball. So I think Na'Vi want to try and just ruin that tempo and get a very early game-centric hero.
Fairly greedy draft from Alliance. They now go back for the Viper as well, so they do have a true heart support in the Lich and a secondary support in the Visage, but 3 heroes, none of which really can control the pace of the game until they get items. Magnus needs a Blink Dagger. Viper just needs to be tanky to really go in and start fights, and we'll have to see how do you think Alliance are going to lane this? Is it an off-lane Druid, a Mag mid, and just a Viper safe lane? Most likely, with some dual lanes?
Yeah, it looks like that's the most likely way. You see a Visage Viper as your safe lane dual lane, but if they want to mix things up, they can go like Lich Viper in the off lane. You pull the creep wave back using the sacrifice. Viper can get the farm, and you send Lone Druid to the safe lane, but I think the most standard way is just to put Bulldog in the off lane, Mag mid, Visage Viper together, and Lich can help out mid, get a couple denies there before rotating into the tri lane.
And if you get enough denies, win all the lanes. So
yeah.
We'll see. As for Na'Vi, last pick, they could go a lot of directions, as you mentioned. It could be a Mirana solo mid for Dendi. It could be a Batrider safe lane, and then they go aggressive tri-lane with something for Havost and Batrider on Funnick's hands. We could have a Dendi Batrider, a Havost Mirana, and then something else for Funnick. It's really up in the air at this point how Na'Vi want to play this draft.
Yeah, they haven't got much time to think through the options here. Just 7 seconds of their extra time remaining, and we'll see what's going to be. It's going to be a Dendi Invoker.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that's
I'm into this.
Yeah, I am too. It is going to be that they're going to play a bit to Alliance's tempo, take that slower paced game, as Invoker does need some farm and levels, but you've still got a Venomancer. He can rotate mid quite a lot and look for some kills with the help of Dendi.
And you know Magnus mid is just not a hero that's going to kill you in like 95% of lanes. You're a very long-ranged hero. He can't really deny your creeps particularly well, because Shockwave, always pushing out the lane, would be very dangerous to walk across the river. Go for deny, so both heroes should get their farm mid. Dendi might actually be able to zone Esper out a bit, but with the Lich denies, that should equalize things. We'll see. I think now with this pick, Ake most likely to spend more of his time in the mid lane rather than the off lane.
Yeah, and that's the other problem for Alliance. It's not just 3 core heroes who can't really control the game without items. It's 2 supports who can't really control the game at all. They're not really good roaming supports. Visage can be if he's paired up with another stunner or here with a slow, something like a Naga Siren, but a Lich plus Visage, this is much more static lane. We'll see Lich just try and find a place to spam denies. Visage can't really gank until Mag hits level 6, then maybe the Visage looks to rotate mid, but in general, Alliance is going to have to play this laning stage very statically.
Yeah, very passive start expected from the Alliance. As for Na'Vi, lots of room for aggression, especially from their supports, and Puppey loves to roam on that Earthshaker early on. Don't be surprised if he starts off very early with some aggression. But we introduce the teams now. We start on the Radiant side with Team Na'Vi. They ended up finishing second in their group, as did Alliance in Phase 2, but when it mattered the most, both of these teams won that Winners Bracket Round 1 match, moved on to the Winners Bracket Finals, and here we have it. Havost going to be handling your Mirana, headed to the offensive tri-lane. Puppey, the Earthshaker, bringing up the middle, and Kuroki, the last one in. He'll have your Venomancer. Has not skilled anything yet. Looks like they're going to place a ward here. We'll pause for a potential gank. Havost could skill Arrow, but unlikely to do so, not knowing who else is here, and just zoning them out. So over to the mid lane, it's Funnick on the Batrider. Funnick taking over the mid lane, and they actually are going to put Dendi in the safe lane. And again, we are seeing that Blades of Attack build. It seems like most Invokers, even if they're going Exhort now, are favoring the Phase Boots over the Treads, or even just straight into Null Talismans.
Yeah. Well, Na'Vi's opponents say that's going to be the Swedish boys. It's the Alliance. EGM going to be playing the carry role on the safe lane, farming Viper. Small Gulik, the stand-in, going to be on the support Visage. In the mid lane, S4, as always, playing. He's going to be handling the Magnus. Then we look towards the off lane. Admiral Bulldog on Lone Druid. And finally, the Lich being played by Aki.
The Lich came to the off lane, so they'll start him off actually helping out Bulldog in the off lane. And they do have an Observer Ward here. I don't think that they've seen Dendi yet, though, so just perhaps predicting that Dendi will be bottom. I didn't see the Bear scouting. Maybe I missed it, but they're going to send the Lich, just so happens, to the lane where not only is Bulldog, but also is the Invoker. So ideal lane to be denying creeps early on. Batrider hero that's going to find his experience in the jungle, even if you deny him in lane. And meanwhile, Puppey's up to shenanigans top.
Yeah, Havos dragged the creeps here, so this is just making this creep equilibrium in this offensive tri-lane get even worse for Alliance. Alliance have just a dual lane versus a tri-lane, and against Venomancer Earthshaker, this means they can't get anything out of this. All they can maybe do is go for a small camp pull here, because they need to somehow pull this creep wave back to a position where the Viper can farm it safely near the tower.
As for this offlane, Dendi really putting the harass on Ake. Level 1 Lich, all he can do is deny, so he's not very good at zoning out a Quas Invoker. But you just give Bulldog a decent start, and then Dendi's going to have his hands full. So I like that lane a lot for the Alliance. The mid lane should be pretty even here. Hard for Batrider to actually kill a Magnus as long as he reserves Skewer mana. But Funnick is farming well, and S4, Bottle coming soon, I imagine, should be farming quite well as well.
Alright, so Alliance going to get off their first pull here at the top lane with this dual lane of theirs. This will be a free farm Havos on Mirana, and one fissure into an arrow. This is going to spell doom for this Alliance dual lane. They don't really have much defensive capabilities for when they get caught out. And even without arrow landing, just fissure into Gale is going to cause all kinds of problems.
Oh, EGM tanking creeps at the tower. There's another wave coming in. Havos might be thinking about an arrow now, just slowly harassing him down. Smoke Gulik, the ideal target. That's where the ping goes. He is a bit squishier. And we'll have to wait and see. But for now, EGM's the one really tanky the creep wave. Down to 300 health. All it takes, one fissure into an arrow, and he is dead to rights.
Yeah, and for the time being, Na'Vi not trying to force the issue under the tower and go for the kills. I think they know that they've got just the better creep equilibrium here. They're free farming away, while Viper just 3 CS. Havos, he's sitting on 9 CS 4 denied, so he's doing just fine here in the top lane as far as farm goes. So they'll find those kills eventually. If Alliance try and poke out, get too greedy, getting experience in last hits, so they're in no rush.
The 2-minute rune will spawn, and it's a bottom rune. It's in haste that goes to Ake, and he uses it to jet up top. And I like this adjustment. They really don't need him bottom, especially not at this point. Dendi, Quas Invoker, doesn't matter what kind of Invoker you're just not going to be able to win a 1v1 match against the Lone Druid, especially when the lane's been pulled back this much. So Bulldog will get free farm. Dendi will probably get his levels, but is in danger of dying once Bulldog hits 5. Meanwhile, middle lane, Blow's being traded, but no full aggression. It's top, where they look for a fissure. They look for a first blood. They've got a Gale available here, and Smoke Gulik, well, there's your fissure. There's your Gale. Easiest first blood of Havost's life, and just not much that Visage can do aside from hiding at his tower.
Yeah, eventually Na'Vi were going to catch him out. He was trying so long to stay alive, also waiting for that next pull to come, but it just wasn't there. And now Alliance give up the first blood there. These lanes, well, top lane, the tri lane not working out for them. Mid lane's going okay with the Mag matchup, but bottom lane is going fantastic for Alliance. Even with Dendi getting levels now, I think worse than the risk of not dying is the fact he's not going to get any CS. He's going to need like phase boots or something, because going Quas Wex, he's only got like 50 base damage at the moment. Bulldog just getting every single last hit and zoning Dendi out of the lane.
Yeah, and it only gets harder from here. The Orb of Venom up on the Bear, boots as well available.
Yeah.
Dendi did pick up his own boots, and he is a Wex Invoker, so he starts to be a little bit more adept at running from the Bear, but Bear with Boots pretty much always going to be able to run you down and at least keep up, even if you're crosswise.
This is pre-level 5 where he's getting zoned out, and once level 5 comes into play, that's where Bulldog will really be just able to punish Dendy.
It's just not a matchup that Invoker can win unless the Lone Druid really gets outplayed, especially with Lich's support early on. So as long as Dendy doesn't die and does get his levels, I guess that's what they're hoping for. They are free farming Havost. They did get the first blood top, but they do relieve the pressure here now. Kuroki, he's just hanging out near the pole camp. Puppy's actually rotated bottom. He started to stack the small camp, and now we'll go for some poles. And with the help of Puppy, it may be possible to get a kill on Bulldog.
Yes.
We both know Bulldog loves to rush the Midas on Lone Druid and then go into Radiance. Meanwhile, though, mid, Havosti's hit an arrow. S4 skewers, but he brings Havost with him. A few more right clicks. He needs one more. There you go. Havost picks up the kill. It was just a rune that he wanted. He only wanted the rune, but Havost was waiting and punishes him. And gods, he has no wards towards the top side of the map, so he never saw that coming.
That's so nicely played by Na'Vi, like bringing in your tri-lane farmer to help out the mid lane. Mag was actually winning the CS spell, but that aside, like Havost just coming in, catches up Mag completely by surprise. He's got the fast phase boots as well, giving him a ton of extra mobility and damage, and what we see there, Mag going down. That's a kill which gives Na'Vi essentially 2 of these 3 lanes won, when before that it was kind of like breaking even on the mid lane, or even slightly behind.
It does free up pressure on that top lane, but EGM will now need to play catch-up. Only 10 CS. He does hit level 4, which is, I suppose, the main thing, is getting your level 6 on the Viper as quickly as possible, but it is a fairly item-dependent hero. You want to be tanky enough to withstand the onslaught of nukes coming your way, and then live to turn around, and this is where Alliance not having defensive supports means that if their carries get shut down early, they're in trouble, because they don't have a Shadow Demon, they don't have an Earthshaker to bail any carry that gets caught out of that situation and turn the fight around.
Yeah. Good news for Bulldog is he has scouted out Puppy at this bottom lane, so he won't be caught by surprise by a long-range fissure here. Has got the Observer, and Aki's actually swung back once again towards the bottom lane, realizing that top is fairly safe for this Viper to farm in.
They want to make a go on Smoggle. He's just about...
Bottom lane, they've got it on Bulldog. Bulldog in trouble here. Gets blocked off. Water Fissure coming in from Puppy. Bulldog now goes into the secret shop. Tornado is there. One more right click, and he knew Puppy was here, but he still went down. Dendy gets down to 50
top,
HP.
Smoggle, it gets hit by the double Starfall. The arrow misses. It doesn't matter. Havost gets the kill, and with Phase Boots, may live to tell the tale. He will. He TP's out. Another death for the Visage, and, well, simultaneously, actually, Kuroki does go down to EGM, so make it a 1-for-1 on top, but the Bulldog Lone Druid also falling bottom, and anytime you shut down Bulldog, you're shutting down the carry for this Alliance lineup.
Now S4 does manage to get the Invis room just before Funnick does at the top lane. Funnick now level 6. He's just trying to get that Blink Dagger up as fast as possible. Already on 1,400 gold, so should be looking at that Blink up around the 8-9 minute mark.
Yeah, looking pretty good, and Funnick's going to have the Blink soon, and once he has it, then you look at this lineup, and they're really firing on all cylinders. Quaswex Invoker, very good in those early skirmishes. He only has 2 points in Wex, but give Denny level 8 or so, and he'll be having pretty long-range initiation. Then Blink Lasso, Fissure, Arrow. Again, just the lineup of snipers, gods, and they're going in top now. EGM, he's going to have to fight his way out. Havost jumps past him, gets off the Starfall. He hasn't found the angle for the arrow yet. He starts to drop to EGM. No stick charges here. I think EGM will go down, but Havost will be the trade. They needed the arrow there, and he just didn't have the angle in traffic to get it off. Meanwhile, mid, no release here. Funnick gets caught out immediately. Blake, or rather, walk-in skewer, and push him back, and they get the kill with an RP.
Yeah, that was a nice couple of kills going the way of Alliance there. Viper getting 2 at top lane before going down, and that kill, Havos almost didn't even kill the Viper before he went down. Yeah. That was very fortunate that he actually got the kill. If Visage was there like a second or 2 earlier, it would have gone completely different. And Alliance gets some much-needed kills. This is really the weakness of their lineup, but they kind of catch a break there finding these kills, is that they don't have the mobility of Na'Vi. Na'Vi, the Mirana, can rotate from top to mid lane. They've got Earthshaker who can be can just catch people by surprise with Fissure and other lanes, whereas for Alliance, Lich is just like... Frostblast doesn't compare to the setup of a Gale or of a Fissure, but we see Lich in the mid lane, in the right place, helping out get a kill there on the Batrider.
That may not compare, but what is incomparable is his ability to gain levels. Already Ake, level 5, halfway to level 6. Remember, support, roaming Lich. He hasn't even stayed bottom. He's been mid. He's headed towards top. Now he's back bottom. He's still on track to hit level 6, like, pretty much as fast as you can on a support without just getting off every single pull and a few kills on carries to your name. So now S4 picks up a haste. Na'Vi wanted to make a go mid. Puppy just breached high ground, but there is an observer, and I think his smoke just wore off. Seems to have been spotted out by Alliance. So S4, he'll hug the southern side of the tower and should be absolutely fine.
Yeah,
they may go back for Smoke Gully here.
Has got the haste rune as well, so it'll be a hard pick off to get. They have to get the lasso, and they're actually using the Moonlight Shadow to initiate. Havos going to scout things out. He's got an arrow if they want to try and scout out this tower.
He's going to have to fire it soon or back off. He has no backup. Puppy
Yeah,
says
this
too
wears
far to
off.
dive. Not a good choice.
Yep, Havos gets spotted. Na'Vi rotate their supports already back towards the mid lane. Looks like they do want to go in on S4, but S4's got to observe it on both sides of this. Immediately, Puppy gets spotted.
Oh, there is a lasso there. If he flame breaks him into a lasso, they get that kill with the fissure, but just not able to get in range. And S4 will back off.
Yeah,
Blink Dagger coming fairly soon.
S4 knowing he had the haste ring there just to keep himself alive. So Na'Vi, the last couple minutes, they've wasted a lot of times rotating their supports, using the Moonlight Shadow, trying to get Mirana involved, and just not really achieving a whole lot. They're going to start stacking up some Ancients now, just being as efficient as possible with what time they've got, but they've still got their work cut out for them without kills coming their way these last few minutes.
And Na'Vi really trying to force those kills. Looks like Havost is going to be able to take an Ursa here. So it does some economic damage to that support Visage, who, despite it, is level 5. Getting that double kill earlier on the Viper, the last hit actually went to Visage. So he ends up getting a ton of experience from that Havost kill, and it really bails out what was looking to be a pretty poor lane for him before then. Meanwhile, middle lane, they found Funnick. There's a Chain Frost available. Hasn't even been skilled yet. Not even needed. Ake already level 7 nearly with that kill. And they kill off Funnick again. Blink Dagger delayed again, gods.
Yeah, 2 kills in a row, and Funnick slowing down his Blink Dagger is really painful for Na'Vi right now. They were banking on getting that Blink around the 8-9 minute mark, and now letting Batrider control the tempo, set up all the kills for them. But now it's like, where do you look to? You have to kind of continue to rely on your supports, and past like the 7-8 minute mark, relying on supports for kills is not really a good recipe for success.
Oh, Dendy, he might be forced to Ghost Walk here, or at least Cold Snap the Bear. One more root. Oh, one more root and he is dead.
Yeah, he was not going to be playing with that RNG there.
Yeah, but that's really good. That's big damage for the lane. Even though you don't kill him, you force out a Ghost Walk. The mana cost was... No, actually, sorry, it wasn't reduced. They buffed the cooldown, I think.
Yeah,
the cooldown got buffed, not this patch, but the last one. But still a very expensive spell to have to invoke.
Well, as for Na'Vi, it looks like they're going to keep the Earthshaker at top for the time being. You've got Batrider Funnick deciding lanes are too dangerous for him. He's going to take the jungle, leaving Crocky mid. I like this decision. Crocky can just passively sit in the mid lane, spam his Plague Wards, and just, I guess, just push things out as well as get some farm and CS himself. Funnick will probably end up farming faster in the jungle, so this is a nice adaptation that Na'Vi have to make, because without Blink Dagger on Funnick, there's so little they can do in the mid game, and they know this item is essential for their strategy.
The Lich has now come top, and we still haven't seen the full power of Alliance's lineup. A Blink RP into a Chain Frost with familiar stuns over the top. If they ever execute that, I feel like Na'Vi just gets team wiped off the back of it. Here comes a Fissure onto Ake. No arrow follow-up yet, though. And Na'Vi just find it's become harder and harder for them to actually find these kills. Now that Alliance's supports have their levels, have their basic items, what was a very easy laning state for them to slow down. And this is where they really need that Funnick Blink. It's been quite slow because of the 2 deaths, but they'll have it soon, and then they need to use that to find some kills.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm wondering where he looks to go immediately with this. He doesn't really see any obvious targets on the map. Bulldog is the one big hero you do want to be shutting down as early as possible, but he hasn't gone for the greedy Midas build. He's, I think, recognized that he needs to just focus on the laning, which is where he picked up the Phase Boots on his Spirit Bear. He's going to even pick up Tranquil Boots on his hero. And this is... I guess he goes straight for the Radiance now, maybe skipping the Midas, but whatever it is, his item progression is coming out a lot slower than normal on this Lone Druid.
Yeah, Viper going for your mech, which is a fairly common build. We see it from a lot of Razors, too. Just the only hero that's going to be able to build it quickly this game. Lich not really getting much farm, but they are trying to go in on Bulldog. They need a Flame Break to set up a lasso here. Flame Break, push him back in, get him with the lasso, but now they've dove really far for this Dendi. Just now getting off the Cold Snap, but it's not enough. Funnick's going to go down. One more right click, barely lives, but S4's here. Shockwave catches him on the cliff. You can't run from the son of Magnus, and Funnick will take a fall.
Yeah, Funnick has his Blink Dagger out as well. Sorry, S4 has his Blink Dagger out as well, so this is really good timing.
They're making it go top. They need EGM here. Well, that was a quick and easy kill. Yeah. That's what they need to do. If you're going on Viper, you have to insta-gib him. You can't just damage him and try and finish him off, because that's where he gets off 3-4 auto attacks and turns the fight like what we saw before.
Yeah, it looks like they used the Moonlight Shadow to initiate, catch out the line by EGM by surprise in the top lane, which is something kind of unavoidable for the Viper carry. He's kind of playing the safe lane farming role, but he's going for the utility mech build, so he's not really the true carry. And now Alliance, they snipe Dendi on the Invoker, and I feel shutting down like the Dendi Invoker is more important than ganking the Havos Mirana or something, because right now, Invoker is much more level and farm dependent than the Mirana.
And ultimately, if Mirana is fairly even farm with a Lone Druid, that Lone Druid is just going to out-carry Mirana. Maybe very, very late game when the bear starts to fall off a bit, but that's at a point where Alliance are likely to be trying to end the game. And there's always the Frost Armor for the bear from Lich and the Empower. This is a bear on steroids. This is not your regular old Lone Druid bear. Well, they're going in mid now. They found Havos. There's an ult to start from the Viper. Blink Lasso not even going to be available for Funnick. It is still cooling down. He may get Ake here, but more TPs come through. There's your Fissure. EGM on the run. Will he stand and fight? Smoke Gully throws out the Grave Chill. Puppy says we're going to dunk him. But with Funnick not being here, I don't know if they get this kill. Puppy about to die, still alive for now. Now the lasso's cooldown. They find EGM. Where is S4 in the midst of it? He just arrives now. He blinks, he skewers, he only catches Kuroki. Kuroki may fall. Well, in the end, they give up the Mirana as well as the Veno, but they do take down the Viper and Lich, so a fairly even trade for both teams. Puppy just barely surviving.
Yeah, and the big thing is, much like when EGM died at top lane, once again, the Familiar's just not quite in position for these fights. They arrived very late to that tier 1 middle tower. I guess they were kind of positioned at top lane and had to swing all the way down, but either way, not having these Familiars in fights, like Visage got a very fast level 6, and I was looking at that thinking, okay, Familiars this early on works great to counter-initiate this Na'Vi team, but they so far haven't been in the right place to do so.
So it's really your classic Quaswex Invoker, Phase Drums. Drums have been nerfed.
Yeah.
Quite a bit since the old days when this used to be the most popular build, but still a strong item and gives you some much needed HP, mobility. We'll have to see though, bottom lane, they want this bear, and this is 300 gold, 300 experience. If they can kill it, it's well worth it. They might even have to blow a tornado here. Well, I guess the poison stain is going to prevent it being recalled.
No recall. The Napalm's there as well. They're going to get a big chunk of gold.
Bulldog wants to deny it, but he's too late. But there's a Blink RP from S4. Where's that Frost Blast? The Chain Frost is cooling down, but Dendy's low. Can he get out? He needs to Ghost Walk. He has no invoke cooldowns. They've killed off 2. The Bat Rider also dead, forced to buy back through the midst of it all. Dendy does end up falling. Now Funnick on the chase. Who can he find? He wants Bulldog. He gets him. Blasts him down. It's chaos. It's a bloodbath. And they want S4. Sniper. YOLO mode from Avos. He'll bring him down too. Will the Familiars also fall? Fissure thrown out. Does not affect them though. And they will end up being resummoned.
Funnick's on the chase here. He has got Lasso. Not going to find anyone to grab there. Great start to the fight by Alliance. What an RP from Magnus. But a timely... This is where, like, the buyback...
If they had the Lich ult, that's so good. Yeah. Such an amazing fight for them.
The buyback nerf is there, but Funnick making the best use of how buybacks can be used there. He was the one sort of setting up multiple kills there. If Na'Vi don't have the Bat Rider, it's still Alliance's fight that they completely dominate there.
Well, Dendy is playing such a strenuous Invoker that he just broke his coffee cup from excitement, it sounds like.
Or maybe that it was the RP, which just, like, scared the shit out of him. It was just something like, whoa, where did that mag come from?
S4 made him spill his coffee all over himself.
I'm just imagining this.
Can he sue S4 for that? Are we going to see a repeat of the woman suing McDonald's for the hot coffee incident? I'm not sure.
S4, your Magnus play is just too sick.
Yeah, too filthy.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, and I think this is where, like, you can see that the Bottle Crow change, I don't think it's as big of a deal as some of these changes to Bat Riders. Having less base damage really hurts him in that 1v1 matchup.
Yeah, because it was like, I remember, like, around the 5-6 minute mark, the Magnus was on 22 CS when Bat Rider was on 18. So Magnus was just winning the CS battle. Well,
he's got so many guaranteed last hits from Shockwave. And on top of that, S4 is pretty good at making sure he gets multiple last hits with Shockwave and also just going for the regular right-click ones whenever he can. So, I mean, he's the son of Magnus gods. He knows how to play the guy.
As this game stands, I think Alliance in a really good position here. They are they lose a couple core heroes in that fight, but they've got the Blink Dagger on the Magnus with 1,200 gold. They've got the level 6 Visage. In fact, he's level 8 with a point boost now, so getting tankier, well on way to an Aghanim Scepter. Lich is level 9. Then you've got your Viper, who's about to finish off a mech. Sure, he's your safe lane carry, but in this game, he's more like a 2-3 position.
You are not safe. There's a Blink Lasso here. They're going to go for him. Funnick's going to pull him in. EGM, he thought the aggression was over. It was only beginning. Arrow not being thrown just yet. Now it will be as the Lasso ends. Chain Frost coming through. They've got a spread. It bounces once, twice. Oh, poor Havos just nuked into submission. Nothing he can do. Now Dendy, back to him. This Chain Frost is still going. Soul Assumptions there. Almost enough for the kill. He'll barely live. You know, there's not many supports that can just charge into, like, 3 heroes and throw out an ult casually and end up getting a kill on a carry like that.
Well,
Lich is a pretty good
They
hero.
lose Viper for it, and sure, at this point, the Mirana may be a bit more of a true carry than the Viper, but they really need this Viper mech, and that was when he was only a couple hundred gold away from it. Loses a good chunk of that, so that's still a loss that Alliance won't be too happy with. It was something completely unnecessary as well, and they kind of Alliance back to sort of playing a bit more safe and passive, at least until the next Mag RP's back up.
Well, how's EGM doing so far on that carry Viper? Filling in, Loda's got some big shoes to fill, but he'll have his mech soon.
Yeah.
Not doing too badly. He was up against the tri-lane. He's died a handful of times, well, 4 actually, which is quite a few, but Ultimately, Viper is not the one position hero, and he does have Empower on his side later on, so I think he's still doing all right.
Yeah, he's playing very aggressive, and it's at some points it's worked out fantastic, and other times it hasn't worked out.
Did they
well.
really find Bulldog? They found him behind the tower. They'll start with an Enchant Totem. They have a Fissure available. Man, you could really use Chain Frost here, but it's not available. Smokeling melting. He's going to drop to a Vos. He tries to go into true form. Bulldog does, but it won't be enough. S4, RP online. Blink Dagger gets disabled. Now onto Ake. It's like a pack of hyenas. Navi just charging after Alliance. They keep on disabling the Blink Dagger. Can they get off a Gale? Max range? It just clips him, actually. No, sorry, just missed him.
Yeah.
Just the Poison Stain. And either way, he was gone. So they get 3. They take the tier 1. And gods, this tempo is a Navi tempo. Very aggressive, lots of kills. Alliance really want to slow the game down, but Navi's making it hard to do that.
Yeah, Alliance aren't ready to take these kinds of fights. They don't have the mech. The Visage teeping into his own death there. And that's why Visage, like with post-nerf, he's still just as strong as ever, but you can't be teeping into a fight there. You have to be in the outskirts of a fight. He was smack dab in the middle of 5 heroes. You cannot play Visage like that. Even
the old Visage, I think you can't do
That's
that.
just like, Visage needs to be TPing to the tier 2 tower, because if he's there in the outskirts of the fight, he gets off 2, 3, 4 soul assumptions, and can maybe see Alliance break even during that fight, but Smogul shouldn't be TPing directly.
And then he comes in the same time that S4 does, and they have RP plus the Familiar. Speaking of which, the Weasel Crow's being pursued out, and S4, he's gonna Blink Skewer. He'll find it along with the Familiar, so, well, Visage showing one of his remaining strengths amongst many, which is killing couriers and generally terrorizing Weasel Crows around the world.
Yeah. That's a nice little gold boost for Alliance more than anything at this point. They've got quite a few heroes who can still deal with a couple more items here. BKB coming out for S4. EGM's got his mech, but he'd want much, much more. And he's suddenly got 1k gold. He gets a tower, gets some courier money, and Alliance are actually ahead as far as the gold graph is concerned. So Na'Vi, even with that recently won fight, with the Tier 1 tower going their way, are not ahead of Alliance.
Man, our supports rich nowadays are what? You look at EGM. EGM's not really support this game, but Smogolig, Point Booster, Ogre Club Up, Ake, the poor one on this team. But then you look at Navi, and Puppy has a Blink Dagger and Arcane Boots, and he's 2-0 and 8, so there is a good reason for it. But
Kuro
still,
has 2.2k gold. Like, his items aren't impressive, but his bank is fantastic.
What do you go for here? As I say that, they are smoked up and heading bottom.
I think just a 4-staff, like very standard.
that's
Either
so
4-staff,
boring.
Ghost Scepter. Also, they need a mech? Have they got a mech? Okay, they don't have a mech.
Oh, Blink RP, they found Havos. They need to burst him down here. Oh boy, that was easy.
Yeah. I think we may see Venom just pick up the mech for Na'Vi since they don't have a mech buyer right now. But yeah, Alliance going to pick off here. They'll use that RP for solo kills because when Na'Vi missing a core hero, they can't really do much. It buys Alliance more time to get those next couple of items up. They still want the Radiance on Bulldog, it looks like. And this will be a very slow Radiance, but it's still an effective item late in the game, cancelling stuff like the Earthshaker Blink Dagger, as well as the Batrider Blink Dagger.
Yeah, double Blink Dagger lineup, really strong for that. And you look at Navi's HP pools, whenever a Radiance is coming out soon, and even this Mirana is quite squishy. Havos only has Arena of Aquila. He skipped drums, he hasn't completed Mantis, so he's fairly vulnerable to getting picked off. Kuroki not so much, and he's actually going Egg Scepter, so at least the casual point booster, then picks up an Ogre Club, so really looks like an Egg Scepter. He could go back for even a Heaven's Halberd, which would not be bad against a Lone Druid Bear, but either way, Ag's Veno does a absolute metric ton of damage, but it does mean you don't have the 4-staff if someone gets caught up by RP. You don't have like a Yule Scepter to throw the bear up in the air. It does deny you some utility.
And it is sort of like damage over time. It's not like instant burst damage. So Alliance still maybe just going to destroy you with an RP Chain Frost. Even if you poison Nova 3-4 heroes, you may still just get completely obliterated by an instant RP Chain Frost.
That's very true. Great tower deny there by the stand. And Smogul, he sniped a courier. Now he denies the tier 1 mid. Standing it admirably with EGM shoes, as EGM taking over that carry roll once again. But they'll TP out Havos, and this is really cute for Na'Vi to stay back and not be too aggressive. They siege a bit, they throw out an EMP, but there is no desire for them to commit without having Havos here.
If they can hit the EMP on S4 and burn all of his mana, maybe they try and make a follow-up engagement, but for now, Na'Vi happy to just back off.
I think Alliance are just the much stronger death ball right now. They're all very tanky. They have the mech online. Na'Vi don't have a mech. The one X factor is going to be Puppy with the Blink Echo Slam, but he's been scouted out, and there's no way he's sneaking in on this Alliance line.
And that Courier Snipe was quite big, because I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure it's Funix 4 stuff on it, because right now he's walking around with no money. Yeah, a Blink Dagger on himself, and he needs the 4-staff for Na'Vi to fight. They're going to look for a bit of an engagement here. Anyways, Fissure onto 2 with the EMP Tornado. EGM in trouble. He gets Blink Lasso. Blink! RP from S4 catches out everyone. Kuroki's there with the Poison Nova. The damage output will come over time, but Na'Vi, they've lost 2, now 3 with the Venomancer going down. The RP timing from Magnus was just too perfect there. And that's where Batrider, not having the 4-staff to escape after the lasso, is so costly. It set up the RP from S4 perfectly.
Yeah, with that, he gets out, and it ends up probably being a 2-for-2 there. At least just a 2-for-1 instead of a 3-for-1. But
yeah.
all they lose is the Viper. Alliance now marching down the middle lane, but here comes a Puppey dunk. Oh, no dunk for Puppey. They do get the Magnus. And a Magnus for an Earthshaker, not an awful trade, but it is a 4-for-2 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's without Chain Frost even being used, God.
Wow,
They never actually used Chain Frost. Holy mackerel.
And that's a lot of just experience in general going the way of Alliance here. Visage suddenly picks up an Aghanim Scepter. Aki's up to level 11. So level 2 Chain Frost coming into play. Now Magnus has, I believe, probably just about got his BKB. He's sitting on 2.1k gold, so...
Yeah, 1k short. A little bit less.
Very close to it. EGM's got this mech and now starts working on his own Aghanim Scepter. And he's just all about tanking up. And a BKB would be nice for him, but the Aghanim Scepter just gives him the slightly stronger ultimate, which can be spammed off.
And this is where you go back to the way the game's developed, and Dendi never got to go for the early Midas on Invoker. Went for Quas Wex, so he's a bit lacking in damage compared to your Quas Exhort Invoker.
Yeah.
Havos playing a Mirana, more of a utility ganker carry, not really a hard carry by any means. Na'Vi are a little bit up against it. In a farm war, once Alliance has a Radiance, they'll easily pull ahead, and already the Relic's out. Na'Vi, I think pressure's on them here, guys. They got to keep the pressure up. Alliance very content to sit back, farm, and just kind of one S4 RP to roll them out.
Yeah, well, they're going to snipe off triple Familiars here, so
Okay.
they've just been summoned. He just got the
There's your
Aghanim
farm.
Scepter. All three of them lost. That means... I mean,
100-second cooldown.
yeah, the gold is nice for Na'Vi, but bigger is actually the fact that he can't resummon them if Na'Vi want to apply pressure to this tier 2 tower. And they know he can't resummon them because
Not
otherwise
going to stop them, though. They blink RP. They unleash the Chain Frost, but Funnick, Force Staff away. There was a blink away
chain
as well.
didn't bounce.
Puppey still alive. Doesn't chant Totem, but Puppey may be the one to go down. He does fall to a Shockwave. But that's an RP for your Earthshaker, who didn't even
Yeah.
have Echo Slam online anyway.
The chain managed to... I think it bounced to Havost, who had leapt out, so there was no further bounces.
And then Funnick Force Staff, it was a Purion Flex Delta split.
Nice.
They both spread to the winds. One this way, and absolutely fine. They're going in now. They've grabbed Bulldog. Can they actually kill him, though? Tornado not going to catch the hero, only the bear. The bear's still alive. He is burning quickly, though. Bulldog low. Bulldog not dead yet, still ticking down. EMP should be enough. It does. No, he gets denied by Ake. One of the big downsides to your Venomancer is that he can get teammates denied or opponents denied, and they also ended up killing off the Venom.
And S4 may not have the RP, but he just skewered 2 heroes back into the tier 2 tower, helping get the kill on the Venomancer there. So he's making plays even when RP's on cooldown. And this game right now, 20 kills to 18. Very little separating the two teams. Alliance starting to pull away by a tiny, tiny margin, but both teams are just playing so well. That's what's really amazing watching these two teams clash. It's just the high-level plays that you always get.
Yeah, even with the stand in Small Goal League, I mean, he's made a few minor mistakes, but he still had some big plays as well. Sniping the Courier, and just generally being a nuisance in these fights. So, well, for Na'Vi, what's their next step, gods? They get the kill on Admiral Bulldog there. They delay his Radiance, but it's kind of hard to see them taking this late game. Havos just picking up a Manta style. Manta Mirana versus a Radiance Bear. You're going to pull ahead if you're the Bear.
Yeah, I think Na'Vi just want to keep getting aggressive, trying to get pick-off after pick-off. They'll do that at mid lane. They've grabbed Smoguluk here with the help of Puppey, maybe able to get this kill. Unfortunately, there's triple Familiars here, so Puppey actually blinks out.
Oh, and they're going to go on Funnick. He gets
Funnick
Frostbite,
on his
Chain
own.
Stun, Soul Assumption. He does stick up, but
Entangled.
it won't matter. Then he gets rooted for good measure. And worst of all, Bulldog gets the kill.
They get the kill.
Beautiful for Alliance. Awful for Na'Vi.
Getting the kill on the lassoed Visage is nice and all, but it's not really worth it. S4's going to skewer on in there, but blink out with a nicely timed vision from Puppey.
He got in. He actually got stunned right as he was trying to go in.
Yeah.
But S4 had BKB. If he used it there, could have gotten the kill, but it would have been an expensive kill.
Yeah, BKB for an Earthshaker, maybe not exactly what I had in mind here. They're going to look to get some more Familiars again.
They don't get any.
Ooh,
Both
they're
says,
gonna
I want that gold. He gets stunned by one. Do they blink RP for this? No. Skewer cooling down. Or on the move. He's going to jump in.
Immediately
But
stunned
again,
again.
Puppey with these magical fissures as the mag is blinking in. He is just one step ahead of S4.
You have to be a mind reader because that fissure has a long cast time. If you want to like the instant blink after he blinks, the only thing you can do that with is your ulti, the Echo Slam with an instant cast time. But he's just reading S4 really well when he moves forward.
Yeah. Of course, S4, well, he's still very tanky. They're not going to kill him just because they don't get the Earthshaker.
That was actually like a backwards fissure. Like, he fissured backwards. I'm guessing he just, like, clicked the fissure onto the Magnus before he even blinked. And after the blink, it just, like, followed him in the other direction.
Next level.
Yeah. It looks like he read him, but he just precasted the fissure on the Magnus, and Magnus just happened to blink into it.
Well, the big thing for Alliance now, they get the Bulldog Radiance. Sure, it's late, but it's a Radiance on a lone Druid against the lineup that lacks a true hard carry. There is no anti-mage this game. There's no steroid skills. Well, Mirana does have her leap. I mean, there's no Empower on this team. There's no big damage boosting auras. There's no Troll Warlord ultimate. So, well, it's going to have to be Na'Vi just out executing their opponents in the team fights. If it comes to just a raw damage contest, Alliance easily have Na'Vi beat. They have the Soul Assumption. Even the Viper Nether Toxin starts to stack up. The Empower, the right clicks that come from a lone Druid, and the familiar damage. Nothing to be underestimated. And on that note, they smoke, and they head towards the Roshan pit.
This is Na'Vi drawing a little lines on the minimap. It looks like they maybe saw this smoke, because
I think
they seem to know what's going on.
I think they smoked like right over here, which might have just
this
been
Radiant
spotted
Observer
somebody.
Ward scouts out the tower, so I think they actually saw the smoke, because they drew an exact line saying, hey, look, this is probably where Alliance are going to go. But now they know they're in the Roshan pit.
They have Puppy coming from the sidelines. There is no medallion here. It's taking a bit longer than it would, but
Puppy gets scouted.
this is where you got to be careful. EMP Tornado, hard to fight against. Arrow gonna fly, catches out Smogolik. Now the EMP Tornado gets unloaded. Bulldog, Smogolik lose a little bit of mana, but not too much. Funnick though, he's found S4. Didn't get off his BKB. Are they gonna leave him on the cliff? They fissure him. They gotta focus him down. He gets off the BKB. He thinks for an RP. He skewers in. He tries to RP. He hits nothing but air. S4 airballs it. Now on the run. Can they bring him down though? He's still alive. He's still alive. Another arrow. This one onto Bulldog with no S4 in this fight. Uh-oh. He blinks out. He gets killed off by the Venomancer with his dying blink. The Poison Sting does its dirty work. And now Na'Vi fighting this fight 4v4. They did lose. Looks like they did not end up losing Dendi in the river.
Yeah, that's kind of costly for them. They can't actually chase all two with their Blink Daggers because of the Radiant's burn damage. But
the bear just died, so resummon forced out. Well, Na'Vi getting a little bit extra gold there, but still not a huge win for them.
Yeah, Na'Vi just couldn't quite kill off Mag fast enough. He got off his BKB, then he managed to escape more or less. He did eventually get chased down, it looks like, by the or died to the Venomancer poison damage, but they really wanted to kill him right off the bat so they could change to a different target. Instead, they spent so much extra time trying to just right-click him down and not succeeding in killing him.
And that's where having a farmed Magnus is just such a threat to the enemy team, because even if he doesn't get off a big RP, he's a hero that you have to focus first. You know, it's a lot like a Darkseer running out the mech, a pipe, except even scarier, the late game mag. So, well, while they're busy doing that, Bulldog does his work. EGM never really even got scratched, tickled, and he's getting close to an Ags. Not a super farm Viper, but one good ultimate from a Viper. It's like the ultimate anti-carry, basically. You ult the Mirana, and Havost is done for the fight. At best, he runs away, but he is not doing any damage.
Yeah, for Na'Vi, I guess the good news is that while Alliance have the slightly better late game, they're reaching that late game stage very slowly. The Radiance timing from Bulldog being slow, as well as just the item pickups for heroes like Viper.
Havost is your leader in terms of farm. He has not been dying as much as Bulldog in this game. Bulldog, 3, 4, and 7. Well, actually, has been dying as much, but you see Havost way more active in terms of kills. Up to 2,700 gold. If you're an item ahead of the Lone Druid, then I think Na'Vi can take it late. And right now, Havost is at least like half an item ahead.
Well, Tornado comes in, scouts out Roshan, doesn't quite clip Alliance here, but Alliance get the Roshan kill uncontested, and this is something which Na'Vi just not quite in a position to contest. They haven't got vision around the Roshan pit. It's just too risky to try and come over to the Roshan pit. They don't know for 100% sure if Alliance are in there or if they're just trying to bait it with a Mag RP, and fighting into a Mag RP and the Radiance now up on the Lone Druid is just so problematic when they're so reliant on these Blink Dagger initiations.
Yeah, Alliance rotate now towards the bottom lane. They get the Aghanim Scepter up on the Viper. Just a lot of ways to cancel the blinks, as you mentioned, and a generally hard lineup to finish anyone quickly. Now Ake, max ice armor, so throw in that movement slow, that attack slow, however much damage you think the Mirana's doing, it's a lot less in reality. And not just the Mirana, but even Dendi if he tries to transition into some damage items. So again, this is where Na'Vi really need to be 1-2 big items ahead on their cores, and although Havost is leading in net worth, for me, it's just not enough right now.
Yeah, they want to get this Invoker as well as Batrider with a lot more fire. I still think they can fight Alliance sort of on equal terms, at least for the next 5 minutes or so. The Assault Crest is still quite a ways off for Bulldog, so it's just going to be a Radiance. The Mag BKB is probably their biggest problem here, because they can't really bring him down unless they burst him down during a lasso. So I think that's going to be the game plan. They almost did it last fight. Well, they essentially did. They forced a bad RP, but this time around, they're actually not trying to fight Alliance. They're just going for some Rat Dota. Even with a Mirana, they're saying, well, hey, look, we can just counter push you.
Well, it is a fairly slow counter push, but Havost with the Manta popped, he spreads his illusions around the tower, so he can scout any sort of TPs, even heroes coming from far back. Now he'll retreat out. They do force the TP. They lost the tier 2 mid. It went to Bulldog, who now is getting close to his Hyperstone.
Fissure, Arrow. They're going to go in on S4. There's no mana for an Echo Slam. They get the kill anyways.
Wow.
S4 goes down.
He had BKB, just couldn't get it off there.
It was a long-range Fissure from Fog. Like, he didn't actually see them coming. It was a Fissure into an Arrow. Na'Vi pretended they backed off. And it was just a really smart play from Na'Vi, because, like, S4's thinking, okay, they backed off. I held this lane. But then in comes Puppey and Havos for a teamed up effort.
And actually, they had a TP on Ake and Smogolig, but I guess at that
there was
point,
no
it's
time.
already
Like
too late.
once the fissure hits, like, and if he even if his teammates immediately TP, it's like he dies in that 2-second TP duration.
Well, he died without getting off a BKB. It looked like a max duration arrow. He was stunned for ages and ages, and there's no Shadow Demon on this team to bail him out. So in the end, he does fall. Na'Vi now, well, they get the kill there on the Magnus, but Lone Druid has not fallen. Bulldog does take the tier 2 mid. Na'Vi winning these engagements by just enough that it feels like they are still in the game, despite, again, being up against a slightly superior late game lineup. But Havost is getting close to that big damage item. What's it going to be here? There's a Butterfly that he could go for. There's an MKB. There's no evasion yet on Alliance's side, so I'm thinking Butterfly or Daedalus here for Havost.
Yeah, I think he wants to go for a big damage item. I don't know. Butterfly's okay, I guess, for the Lone Druid, but the Radiance damage is still there. The Aghanim Scepter Viper, the ulti still goes through. So Lincoln's not a bad choice, but ultimately he does need damage as much as he wants to be maybe blocking off the Viper strikes.
And there's a lot of other ways to cancel that. Soul Assumption, Grave Chill, the Lich Nuke, so I don't think you can go Lincoln.
And Havos going to just straight up backdoor this tier 1 bottom tower. Alliance can glyph this. They can TP in, but this is just annoying because it's Alliance who want to be kind of controlling the tempo here, but Havos is saying, look, I can force you guys around the map. He scouts out no one with an arrow, and this will be an easy tier 1 tower for Havos as well as glyph being used.
Havos making plays all over the map. 6, 4, and 10, taking towers, sniping off the Magnus at his own base, and even denying a few extra creeps. He'll continue to farm this bottom lane. Suddenly, they have Boots of Travel up, and this is where Na'Vi do have the more mobile lineup. We've talked about it a lot already. The Quaspex Invoker, the very mobile Phase, Leap, Marana. You've got now a Boots of Travel, Blink, Force Staff, Batrider. They might not be able to win in a head-on fight against Alliance, but what they can do is just kite them, split push them, and give Alliance a taste of the Rat Dota.
Yeah, I've got to say, so far Havos has kept Na'Vi in this game. From like his very early rotation to kill the Magnus with an arrow, to the split push at top lane, to now pressuring this tier 2 tower. He's the one he's doing everything like what a Nature's Prophet does, as well as just a Genka does. He's causing Alliance all sorts of problems.
Look at that EMP Tornado. It's such an annoying force to push in against. Just one EMP Tornado. S4 does have the Arcanes.
Arrow on bottom lane, they're going to hit the Spirit Breath. They want to kill off this Spirit Breath. They will get it with the fissure. Havos needs to be careful. Immediate leap out. One TP gets cancelled. 2 TPs get cancelled. Alliance are going to stay top.
The Bear now comes back to the top lane, and they're going to push this tier 1. So Alliance looking for the trade. Na'Vi, they've got the Moonlight Shadow. Here comes your Meteor. Deafening Blast, but S4, he dodges it, and he chases on Dendi. Can he get a range for a Blink RP?
Na'Vi
looks like he can. Funnick, though. This Invis is worn out. Now he's been scouted. The Bear's disabling his Blink. He does fly and cliff skate his way to safety. He wants to go back in, but while this is happening, Na'Vi getting closer and closer to that tier 2 bottom, and looks like they're going to get it.
I think it was maybe Funnick cancelling TPs with Flame Break or something, because there was 2 TPs, both of which got cancelled with this tier 2 tower. I don't think Alliance was saying, hey, let's trade a tier 2 for a tier 1 while we get stalled by an Invoker at long-range AoE spam. They were trying to stop it from happening, but maybe the Flame Break's cancelling the TPs. Alliance will regardless get a tier 1 and a tier 2. They've only got a minute left on this Aegis, though, and they're going to try Siege the high ground here, but Na'Vi will be waiting for him.
Big timing for Alliance if they go now, because Avost is going for that Butterfly.
Yeah.
200, 300 gold away, and if they don't push right now, he's going to have it. If he really wanted it, could send his bottle, and now the secret shop will be open. Actually, it's headed to the Dire secret shop. Smart play, because this is the much safer shop to
turning
go
around.
to.
Well, someone turned it around, but it's back to the shop once again. And I think
is like, no, this Weasel Crow's got it.
Here's one of his teammates who probably said, like, what's our courier doing? Is it drunk? It's going to the enemy side of the base where no heroes are.
Oh, listen, I got this, man.
Yeah.
And he does so. Gets the Butterfly, which, again, this Lone Druid's not getting an MKB on his Bear anytime soon. Bulldog still needs to complete just the basic Assault Cuirass. 35 minutes in. He's down 2.5k gold, and really, Radiant's Bear should be up, but the deaths, the fact that he hasn't been able to split push, the fact that his Bear keeps on dying, it's really costing Admiral Bulldog a lot of that farm.
So it feels like both teams just traded like 3 towers each in the last couple of minutes. There hasn't been any big clashes here, but yeah.
Nobody's ever led by 2,000 gold in a 35-minute game with 43 kills. That is a true mark of how evenly matched these two teams really are.
They produce some of like the most evenly matched up battles every time they verse. Very rarely do you get the one-sided games when they face off. But right now, Na'Vi seem to be starting to gain some momentum with a bunch of tower kills. But the graph makes it look like we're on an upward slope, but that's still just a 2k gold swing going Na'Vi's way in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think the big win is that they're not way behind. They don't really need to be way ahead, and they should be behind against the Lone Druid, but they're not. And in fact, well, Bulldog, he does have the Empowered Bear to work with. He can farm these Ancients a bit quicker.
Only just now got his like Assault Crest. This is where Na'Vi is still well in this game. Bulldog's item progression just has been stalled fantastically by the Na'Vi aggression.
Yeah, and meanwhile, well, Havost, he's getting his next item fairly soon.
Yeah.
Once you get that third item on Mirana,
RP bottom. They've gone in on Funnick. He's going to get caught out here, and I like this from Alliance. Navi's just playing this slow-paced farm Dota. You just got to use that RP on all these heroes who are split pushing. When you catch out anyone, RP, get the kill, then look to see where you can go from there.
Yeah, just not a really important kill, though. Batrider, sure, he doesn't have BKB, but they're not getting a tower off of it. They're not getting a Roche off of it. And Na'Vi, they'll just push out the top lane. They'll continue to push the middle lane, and Havos continues to farm. Leaps onto the familiars, but he does get Mirana, or Viper ulted, rather. He tries to Manta out of it, won't be successful, ends up going down. Nowhere for Havos to run. And that's the costly death right there.
Yeah, he's played like amazingly. The best on Na'Vi, but that one small leap in is a huge mistake.
That was just pure greed. Sees the Visage familiars and says, I can kill these before they can even get off a stomp, but he wasn't counting on the backstab coming from EGM.
Na'Vi, they're immediately positioning multiple heroes at top lane, knowing that Alliance want to push down the mid lane. They want to make sure that, hey, if Alliance go mid, they can pressure top, and the creep wave is there. This tier 3 tower is already on 300 HP, so this is actually a bit of a problem for Alliance who want to push mid, but I'm not too sure if they actually can here. And this tier 3 tower not under siege. Glyph on cooldown for about 5 more seconds, and well, Alliance have to get back.
Meanwhile, Alliance rotating through that Radiant jungle. Maybe
tower
looking for
down.
Funnick here. It looks like Funnick's ready to cancel some TPs. Little S4 Dota from him, perhaps, but...
The other thing Na'Vi's got, they're really trying to apply the pressure with this.
Oh, Funnick, he's gotten rooted here.
No.
He's going to drop fast. I think this bear could finish him. No. Forced to back off. They forced out the TP, but it's a trap. Dendy's walked right into it. Uses himself up. That will debuff a lot of these slows, and in fact, he'll be fine. Puppy's joined the fight as well. EGM's got another ult. He's still got a BKB. They may lose this fight, not having Havost here for it. Well, there's your Mirana ult. Now he's joined the fight. They try to turn it around. EGM on the run. The bear killing off these plague wards. They're slowing everyone down. And Alliance, in the end, forced to retreat out. Na'Vi do manage to dodge a bullet. They did take the tier 3 top in the midst of this, though. Goes to Kuro.
Alliance really risking things a bit there.
Oh, man mode from Kuro.
Arrow goes flying. Not going to find anyone for the time being, but Alliance still holding their ground here. They're going to go for this tier 2 tower. Havos is going to leap and pick up the regen. Someone's TPing top. That's Funnick, actually. He's going to try force TPs back. He's going to pressure these Raxes. The glyph is up, and he's going to be very slow to put pressure these Raxes. But there goes S4.
King Rat, Admiral Bulldog. He can't be losing to some Rat Dota. Can he, Gods?
I don't know about this. Funnick is going to get the blink out. S4 tried to go in on him, but...
He's always preaching Rat Dota. Always here in the BTS chat. Go Rat, guys. Rat Dota, best Dota. But right now, Na'Vi showing him how to Rat Dota, it seems. They have gone in with a BKB. EGM drops the ult. He does get the Veno, but not the biggest kill. And now comes Savos from the backside. Looks for the arrow. He's already thrown it, actually. Manta available. Still chasing Smogalik. The stomps already been used, it looks like, on one of them. Off the mark on both. And now Smogalik caught by the arrow. Havos will clip him. Dendy securing the kill for Havos there with the tornado.
As well.
They're not done yet. Ake on the run. There's a lasso available. It won't be needed. They can just burn him down here. Flame break. They'll use a lasso just to secure the kill, but, well, it's got a short cooldown at this stage of the game, and that was a lot of kills they just gave
That's also a 70-second respawn time on the Lich. That is a big late game
respawn time. He must have
time.
used the buyback earlier.
He is level 16, but he must. Yeah, I agree. He must have used that buyback previously, because I don't remember him using it, but...
I think he did anyway. Well, that's a long respawn either way. And Roche's actually back up.
Yes.
Na'Vi, have they scouted it yet? Doesn't look like it. Dendy just doesn't even have the double Forge Spirits yet. Only the 3 points it costs, but I imagine we'll see him go for them very, very soon.
Well, now we look at Dendy picking up an Aghanim Scepter for himself. Havos has got 3.6k gold, so items are there for Na'Vi. The BKB on Funnick's Batrider also online. So for Alliance, this is still going to be a very evenly matched late game. We finally reached that 2k gold lead for Na'Vi, but it's instantly gone, and it was only just for a brief second to 2k
What an
gold
even
lead.
game. I can't even remember the last time I saw a game this close. 40 minutes in.
Minutes of just
the
dead
kills
even.
are only different by 2. The net gold difference has only ever been about 2,000. Sure, I think there's been 1 or 2 buybacks this game, but nothing too significant.
And like, even looking at the net worth of the heroes, like everyone and their counterpart is pretty much evenly matched up. The Mirana, the Lone Druid, pretty much evenly matched up. Viper and the Batrider, very similar. Then you've got the Invoker, the Mag, very similar. The supports, your Earthshaker, Visage matchup, your Venomancer and Lich. There's a bit of a difference there, but at this point there, you're 5-position supports. And
this is where, as we were discussing, at some point, Lone Druid does tend to fall off because he's not the most mobile carry. And even if your bear is 6-slotted, even if your hero is, he's still a melee hero.
Yep.
This is where Havos can kite him. They have the Gale, the Poison Sting, a lot of abilities to deal with that bear. And this is where Havos can actually start to take over and end up being the biggest damage during the game.
And normally Lone Druid like avoids suffering from the problem that he falls off by just getting so far ahead of everyone. But yet no point in this game has he even been like ahead of the Mirana in net worth. He's only just now trying to catch up, and he's just got a Radiance AC.
It's not enough.
That was such a slow Radiance AC that, yeah, it feels like exactly. It's not enough. Na'Vi can focus down the Spirit Bear. They have so much good slow and lockdown between Cold Snap, Gale, Poison Sting, Lasso, Arrow Fissure, all these great spells to actually kill the Spirit Bear that Bulldog has to be so careful with how he micros
Well,
it.
this is where Alliance say, we have the mag, come and fight us. Sunstrike will come in. Now the Familiars as well, though. Dare you challenge the son of Magnus, Na'Vi? Dare you do it? In comes Dendi. They're going to go for it here, but already the Aegis picked up by the Lone Druid. Quickly, Funna comes in, gets the lasso off, but he gets rooted in position, dropping pretty fast. Now Puppey blinks it with a Shiva's Guard, disabling S4's Blink Dagger. He's forced to BKB. Now he's on the hunt. Who's he going to jump for? He ends up catching a Vos. That's your ideal target. They skewer him back. They kill him off. They've lost him. In the end, it looks like Funnick was able to live. He skirted out of that fight, but they lost the key hero, the Mirana, and Alliance secure themselves the Aegis.
Yeah, even being a one-hero RP, the Alliance getting Aegis as well as killing off the Na'Vi carry. Great little pickup for them.
I just can't believe Puppey has a friggin' Shiva's Guard.
Everyone...
How many Earthshakers have we seen that, like, just get a Blink Dagger and that's it?
Dendi in a bit of trouble here, forced up to the high ground. S4 was looking for him, but this just seems to be the new 6.79. In evenly matched up games, all supports will just somehow get a ton of farm with the new gold gain and just... generally supports not having to pull as much regen in the early game.
Everybody gets to be a hero.
Yeah.
Even the support.
Shiva's Guard Blink Ghost Scepter.
Even like Smoggle League on this Visage. He's still walking around with a pipe and an Agadams, which is pretty damn good farm.
We start thinking about items like
the poorest here in the game is Ake. At least he's got a Force Staff. He's got something here, gods.
Yeah.
And they're now looking to go high ground. With the Aegis, they'll start the siege, but they don't have RP. They just want to try and force out a buyback here from a Vos. He has one available, but Dendi, one of the best stalling heroes in Dota. And they're going to focus the bear. Gets Force Staff down. Shiva's just a slight second late, and Puppey not able to get it, but Flame Break secures the bear kill. And that really blunts this offense from Alliance.
The problem is now, Alliance can try continue sieging, but with the Spirit Bear on the front guard, it's worth just using a Flaming Lasso to go for it. Meanwhile, top
then there's no bear for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, you can use a lasso to kill the bear if you know there's no cooldown, but if there's a cooldown, it's not worth the lasso.
Well, Na'Vi know there's no cooldown now, and Alliance with no RP, it was just about to cool down, will be forced back. Sure, they've got this Aegis, but is it going to be enough? Crystallis up on a Vost. He's working his way towards a Daedalus, and you give him that Daedalus if they don't RP him in these fights, which is hard to do when he's so mobile, and when it's always Batrider, Earthshaker coming in first, the Invoker allowing him to disengage. If he doesn't get focused, you throw Alacrity on this Mirana, and it's going to shred anyone. Absolutely anyone.
Well, Na'Vi now start to move out on the map. They're smoked up. They want to get some more... Well, they've already got the aggressive wards. That's the other big thing for Na'Vi is they've had such great vision through this Alliance jungle. It's helped them just split push this top lane. It's helped them even... They didn't help them with Roshan, but they have got wards around the Ancients here. So they've got great vision for 45 minutes in the game. And that's where Alliance really need to try and benefit something from like a gem.
Looking for small goal leg. There's a long-range tornado. He's been caught. The Fissure does get stacked with it. Not really the best order of operations there, but it was a very risky dive anyway, and wisely... Na'Vi not going to go on that, because guess who was waiting? S4 and the rest of this Alliance squad.
Yeah, Na'Vi need to find some way of just to continue keeping track of S4. Every time Alliance are trying to take a fight, go for Roshan, go for a push, it's always S4 on one of the sides just out of vision range, and Na'Vi have to really just try and be proactive, guessing where he's going to be, scout him out using arrows, using Forward Spirits, and then once they find him, they've got to cancel his Blink, because his Blink RPs is the one-way Alliance with fights. I think without an RP, they're not going to win a fight.
Tornado catching out too. Havos looking for an arrow here. There's a double damage run on this Mirana. He's going to hit like a truck. Does get Familiar Stun, though. There's your Blink RP. Havos caught out again. Skewered back in, and he will fall. For Havos, but they still want to fight this, it looks like. Na'Vi, Conga line into the fight. No, they say, no, not without Havos. They want to run now. And Alliance hot in pursuit. They're burning Kuroki. They're burning your bat, and it looks like Kuroki force-staffed away, trying to TP out. Is there any way to cancel this Familiar Stuns? They get him anyway with that last right click from the Visage, it looks like. They bring him down, and now, well, now some Forge Spirits get cleaned up, but RP was used here, and Mirana does have buyback, so all Alliance really want to do is push mid, try and force the buyback, and then retreat once it happens.
They're going to go down the mid lane. They leave the Spirit Bear top, pushing things out, knowing there's a good chance Na'Vi will try to continue with the Rat Dodo. They've got the boots to travel on the Batrider. Even Puppey is still near this top lane, but he can't push out against the
Blink
Radiant.
Skewer? No, not there. Couldn't find the right angle.
Triple Familiars also up, and this is going to be hard for Na'Vi to defend. No Glyph as well. I think they may have to use this Mirana buyback.
Yeah, they may be forced to, but Puppey's going to look to stall it. He's got a Fissure, Deafening Blast, Fissure, Batrider throwing in the nukes, but already the tier 3's down. Now the bear, no longer disarmed, starts to work. The racks are melting. Even if they buy back now, this is one lane of racks down. It could be more. Havos really wants to hold on to this buyback. And, well, it's a team decision. He is going to hold on to it. They even BKB on Funnick here. They kill off the bear, but Alliance, they're content with this. They get a Rex, and they run away.
Yep, they'll TP home. They'll look to just regroup, maybe wait for... Like, I guess they could wait for the next Roshan, but they've still got the Aegis for the time being here. It's just a matter of whether they can actually use this Aegis in time.
Looks like about 2.5 minutes, right?
Just 1 minute. It's just the... It only lasts for the 6 minutes.
Yeah, but this is still like a third of it.
No, it's only this little bit here. This is that full 8-minute
timer.
timer.
That's the full 8 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
Don't worry.
I did not have a chance to read Cyborg Matt's guide thoroughly enough, apparently. But, yeah, so only a few minutes left.
Cast is spreading too much misinformation about the Roshan
I'm not a
timer.
fan. I'm going to just say it now. I'm not a fan of the new Roshan timer.
I love... Yeah.
The old one was easy enough to read. This one just... It's a thorn in my side, God. It's a thorn in my side.
No, don't worry. I spread my share of misinformation about it, too, initially. So.
Every caster had, like, their own theory on how it worked. And, well, Matt has put up a nice encyclopedia on how the clock works for those who want to learn more about it.
There shouldn't need to be an
If it comes with a manual, then
yeah.
maybe it's...
I remember, like, his response to this or something was like, well, it was meant to be really simple to understand, but Caster spread a bunch of misinformation. I was like, wait, hold on a second,
please.
Matt. We're not all rocket scientists and just general, like, intellects like you are. We're just simpleton casters here with
a poor slob.
humble upbringings.
Yes. We're just slobs. Here we go. Na'Vi, though, grouped up in the middle lane. 4 heroes there. Now forced to TP out.
Yeah.
Alliance, no Aegis. They do have some buybacks here available, though. The Lone Druid, the Magnus, the Viper, as well as the Visage. Everyone except for your Lich. So if they want to commit to this, maybe they can and just throw bodies. But there is, of course, a lot of buybacks on Na'Vi's side. Batrider's back into the fight. We'll keep our eyes on Funnick here as he rotates in. And Alliance, they forced everyone out except for Havost, who's still doing his thing in the enemy jungle. Yeah. No buyback now. He did complete that data list.
Yeah, Havost may be wanting to pressure this top lane here, but he'll see Bulldog TP back, and they now realize Alliance are not coming to this push. They may be waiting for that next Roshan. But whatever it is, Havost wants to farm that buyback gold, because right now it's very dangerous should a fight break out and he doesn't have the buyback.
Okay. So Alliance now, they'll back off. They'll wait for the next Roshan. And if you're Na'Vi, I don't think you can give this one up, Gons. You give that up, then Alliance will be working with like 3 lives on Bulldog between buyback, Aegis, and at least 2 bears during that time. EGM's going to have 2 lives. He's going to have a butterfly, and that's the point where Havost does not go on MKB. Now EGM gets a bit hard to kill and lock down, and you can't really last. You can't lasso both of them. I don't think you can ignore either of them once he has that item.
Dendi just going to be annoying at the top lane. Tornado EMP throwing. He needs to get out of here pretty fast, though, as Asphalt will be looking for him, as will the Bulldog Spirit Bear here. When with the BKB, the thing is for Alliance is their plan is just going to involve just completely just focusing on the Raxes using this. Funnick is out the top lane with Na'Vi. They want to try find some pickoffs, but Alliance, they have the numbers advantage.
Well, they have lassoed EGM. They're going to pull him up on a cliff, but I don't think the follow-ups here. Havost is only now getting around, and EGM, he fires a warning shot. Immediately, Funnick forced to jump out. He'll be forced F down and should be absolutely fine. Arrow to flying, not going to connect. Alliance now rotating towards mid.
Rocky just creep skipping the bottom lane. Na'Vi just pulling every little trick, doing anything they can just to cause Alliance little problems, put them off their game, be as efficient as possible. And I like this from Kroki, because even though this creep wave's further back, it's just another thing that Alliance will have to look at and be like, okay, do we TP back? Do we try and deal with this? Do we just leave him be and go for a push? But Roshan respawning, and this is a very fast Roshan respawn.
Yeah, Alliance wrapping down towards that bottom lane, but already Kuroki on the TP out. Dendi heading out mid, keeping the lane pushed down, and Alliance, yeah, like you said, all about this next Roche. They won't leave, but they might end up losing their Viper here, EGM, or maybe not. Maybe he goes in and kills off someone on Na'Vi. Funnick trying to run, but there's a skewer. They keep him damaged. He can't blink. He's already forced out. Funnick's going to fall, and Funnick has no buyback.
Yeah.
Roshan now respawns, and that's your Aegis for Alliance if they want it.
It's an 8 to 11 minute respawn time, and that was like 8 minutes and 20 seconds at respawn, so... Maybe not knowing right now, but with Batrider dead, I think they just prefer to push. That's one less hero Na'Vi have, and that's a very important hero for Na'Vi to have when defending.
Well, judging by the lack of buyback, they're coming in the middle lane, then it looks like they're going to wrap around towards bottom. There is still a tier 3 available there. Glyph is available as well. Yep. And if Batrider buys back, which he can't, but they might be worried about it, they would definitely look to retreat. Fissure's going to fly out from Puppey. Tornado, the big Deafening Blast Meteor combo, bringing us for EGM.
Boss just counter-pushing. Na'Vi decide they can't fight this. They're just going to give away these Raxes. Dendi's going to try and stall.
Not going to do it in time, I don't think. No. The bear thrown up in the air, get scaled up, but he brings the tower down already. Now Havo's back into the fight. He never took Rax. They try and take a big engagement. Puppey jumps in, drops the dunk, but everybody's alive for the time being. The BKB bear doing its work. Havos does manage to focus down the Magnus. He gets the crit when he needs it. Now Dendi, Familiar's isolating him. Smolgo like eating finding a huge enchant totem. Puppey buys back, turns it around. Dendy now
He's still alive
on the
somehow
run.
as well. He does get scouted out. It looks like there's detection for him, but what a fight from Na'Vi. They hold off, and that only came at the cost of an Earthshaker buyback.
Nah,
Puppey,
they got another lane of Rax, though.
Yeah.
The melee Rax falls. Still
the
a
same
pretty big loss.
they kill off 4 heroes there, which is a pretty big
That's
pickup
true.
considering Na'Vi's position right now. They're playing on the back foot. They had to try and defend Raxes without a Batrider, and they only lose a melee Rax. They kill 4 heroes. They're still behind in this game, but that was as good a hold as you were ever going to get from Na'Vi.
Yeah, completely agree with you there. As good as they're going to get, but is it enough is the real question, because Roshan's up. Alliance will have the map control for this. Na'Vi going to have a hard time keeping bottom and middle lanes pushed out. They're trying to push them out now, but for Alliance, all they need to do is just slowly whittle the lanes back, and once Na'Vi's busy defending, you go and very quickly take Roche. So Alliance still in the driver's seat. Gold experience very even, but it's really about the creep equilibrium now, and that's where Alliance have the big advantage.
Yeah, that's what Na'Vi are trying to do with now. They know that when these 3 heroes respawn, Alliance will be gunning for Roshan. I don't think Na'Vi scouted out that Roshan's back, but they have a very good idea. Havos is invis, maybe going to scout this out. Picked up the Helmet of Dominate, gets himself some life steal, making sure he steals buyback, and that's a big thing right now for Na'Vi. They've got buyback on most of their core heroes. It looks like everyone except the Venomancer as well as the Earthshaker who just used it.
And Viper also bought back in that fight, by the way. So they lost their Viper. He did buy back. That's one they're missing, but Alliance, the team that...
Havos going into Roshan. This is
going to take a while. Alliance have to be ready for it. It's been nearly 11 minutes now. Havos just saying, you know what? I'm going to take this Aegis. Let's go for it, guys. He could drop his magic wand here. He's got a slot for it, but in comes the bear. Can't afford to get rooted. Where's Havos going to go? In comes Kuroki, trying to start off this fight on the right foot. S4, no RP used yet, but his Blink Dagger has been disabled. He skewers in. He's found Havos. There's your RP. Havos down. He can buy back. He'll need to do so immediately. Meanwhile, Chain Frost, Deafening Blast, all the spells being thrown through. Puppey on the run. The pipe gets popped, and EGM will eat a fissure. Havos bought back, but still not back into this fight yet. Puppey being pursued out by Familiar. Should go down. Maybe not. They popped the dust. I don't think it caught him. No, he's fine. They can't see him now. Meanwhile, S4, no RP, no refresher this game for him. Flame Break off the mark, not going to hit Ake. Now it's Funnick on the run. Every Viper Strike just completely shutting down a single Na'Vi hero. BKB Bear in pursuit. Funnick, he's got a lasso, still chasing. This fight doesn't end. Havos picks off Ake on the backside, now heads north. Remember, he bought back. If he dies again, that could cost you the game. They now lasso Bulldog. They pull him far away from home, but he says, great, I'd love to kill Funnick instead. Gives the chase onto him. Meanwhile, they have managed to find Havos, and well, it's S4 on the run for his life. He doesn't have the RP though, so Havos lives to tell the tale. Now Bulldog realizes there's still a fight going on at the Roche pit. He backs off. He comes back in. Denny and Puppey are hanging around on a sliver of HP. EGM, Bulldog into the pit. They're going to try and take this Roche, and it's up to Dendy. Where's that Aegis Steel, Dendy? He's thinking for it. Oh, he's too late. Now he's going to eat a Chain Frost, and he will go down. Ghost walks, but the Sentry gives them the vision. They get the kill. That's a Havos buyback down. That's an Aegis, as well as a Cheese going to Alliance, and that may well be the turn of the tide.
Dendy's got to use the buyback here. I don't even really think about it. Alliance can be pushing down the middle lane with Aegis as well as Cheese on their side. This is the last hold for Na'Vi. They can't hold back. They've got to use the buyback here, and this is going to be do or die for them.
With the new buybacks, I mean, you do generally want to wait until the last second that you need to buy back, because you're dead less time, but at the same time, if he dies once and he buys back and dies again, even if he's only dead for 70 seconds instead of 80, that's going to be enough for Alliance to throw. So it probably doesn't matter. It's up to Avos here to find a big snipe. Can he catch out S4? He's fishing for a kill.
Kuroki's already going to go down.
Meanwhile, they have lassoed the bear at the top lane. Kuroki will fall, but killing off the bear would be decent. There's no resummon for 10 seconds. They can't get it, though. BKBs and has the resummon. Now an RP. He's caught Funnick. He's caught Dendy. Havos is too late to this fight. Arrows off the mark. Dendy yules himself defensively, tries to live, but while it's happening, the tower in jeopardy. Dendy on the run. One more shockwave. S4's found the angle. Now the Chain Frost onto Havos. Pursued out, brought down. One last Sentry. There were 2 dropped there, and Alliance are going to take game 1. 3 lanes of Rax, 37-30 your score. This one was a dead heat all the way, but the creep advantage pulls it out in the end.
Even now, it's only a 3k gold lead for Alliance. 55 minutes of just tug-of-war here. Neither team giving anything. And Alliance, they finally managed to pull away. What a game 1. This is just first game of a best of 3 as well.
What a fabulous game 1 it really was. Both teams played their hearts out. Both teams with fantastic strategies, great movement. It looked like Alliance were going to pull away with it just because Bulldog was having a good start. EGM did die a lot, but he's a Viper building a mech. That doesn't matter, and they had a really fast blink. To me, it looked like between those 3, it would have been Alliance's game, but then Puppey had fantastic movement on the Earthshaker, as he so often does. even though Funny kept on dying, eventually got his Blink, eventually got his Force, and eventually he was back into this game.
Wow, that does. I've got to say, like, Na'Vi, it kind of looked like Alliance was going to pull away from it, but Na'Vi just pulled their way back in, got some core items, and it wasn't until Alliance realized, hey, look, we've got to start getting pickoffs. That's our only way back into the game. They picked off Funnick a few crucial times. They got pickoffs here and there, but Na'Vi actually staying in the game was what was really impressive there. Like, the Rat Dota split push that we saw from coming at top lane where they kill off S4 as well, they get the Tier 3 tower, those kind of plays really kept Na'Vi in it.
What a game one, guys. This is a best of 3, though. Stay tuned. We're going to be coming right back after a short break here with game number 2. Na'Vi versus Alliance. Best of 3. Winner guaranteed top 2. Your loser dropping down to play Team Liquid. We'll be right back.